Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about offset iron sights on your LPVO. Okay, so this isn't just something I threw on there to be cute and stylish. Um, I did a video yesterday when it was like really damp, rainy, foggy, misty, and the issue that I was having is that the lenses on the LPVO were fogging up. Okay, and like even if I tried to clean them, they would immediately like fog up, mist up. I even tried putting a little saliva on them, like divers do on their masks. They were still fogging up, and they were also getting water droplets on them. Okay, um, now, somebody had suggested, hey, how about putting covers on them? But the thing is, I was using these all day, right? So even if I put covers on them, the fact that I'm moving around using them, I mean, they're exposed, right? Because I was like literally shooting the gun all day. Okay? Now, I was testing it against a red dot with a magnifier. Okay, so with the red dot by itself, not so bad because I was just looking through one lens. Okay, I mean, it's still got water droplets in there. You know, it was still hard to see a small target, right? Because I got like these little 6-inch stop signs. I got some red ones out there at 75 yards. I couldn't see the targets, right? Even the 2 foot by 1 foot red targets, I could not see at 75 yards because of all the crap that was on the lens. Okay, you know, be it mist, saliva, water droplets, all that stuff. Um, uh, you know, I was having some difficulty. Okay, now with the LPVO, see, with the magnifier it was like a 3 power or 1 power, right? So with the 3 power on the magnifier, it wasn't working, right? It was just too much crap I was looking through. When I flipped it over into just the red dot, I had a somewhat clearer picture, but I didn't have any magnification, and I was still looking through some water droplets, some mist, some crap. Okay, LPVO, I was able to kind of shoot the target at 75 yards. Again, small red, 6, 8-inch targets, and also the 2 foot by 1 foot target. I was able to like get into the 2 power and kind of get on target. So there was an advantage to the LPVO in that I didn't have to go all the way up to 3 power. I could stay in 2 power and kind of hit the targets. Okay? But then what I did is, like I said, hey, you know what? Let's throw on these offset sights over here and see what they look like. Okay, and certainly in CQB distance. Okay. I had an advantage because I wasn't looking through any lenses, through no water droplets, through no mist, no saliva on the glass, none of that. In CQB distance, the iron sights gave me an advantage. Okay, now, again, these are very like strange and unique almost circumstances. Like I get rain here all the time, I get mist here. It was just like a combination of certain things, so you got to have like the right combination of things to like create a situation like the one I had yesterday, and including the close distance where I was at. Like I had better lighting here at the 10 yards and 30 yards, but at the 75 yards I didn't have lighting. Okay, so that's another reason why the iron sights, okay, seemed to give me a tremendous advantage. Okay, now, when I tried to use those iron sights at the 75 yards, I still couldn't see the small red targets. I needed magnification. Okay, so that didn't address my issue of being able to see the target at 75 yards, which again, like even right now in the day, it's not raining, and you guys here, let me try and zoom you guys in on the target. All right, so that target right there in the center of your screen, that's at 75 yards in that black hole over there. So even now without the rain, you can see how it's kind of dark. So that's what we're trying to get to, okay? So, and that looks great when it's like nice and sunny outside. The red kind of like, glows. But on a day like this, it doesn't. It's basically like camouflaged against the brown backdrop, okay? So again, we're trying this in all sorts of different situations. But anyway, the thing that it made me think about is, hey, in certain circumstances, these offset iron sights can be very handy. Okay, now a lot of times I see people with LPVOs, and they'll have like the rear sight here and the front sight up here. The problem is that they're not accessible. You have to remove the scope in order to be able to use the sights. Okay, so that's like purely like, and plus in many cases, like you need a tool to get the scope off. Okay, so that's not something that you can immediately use. Okay, whereas with the offset iron sights, okay, you know, you can go from scope. Let me see if I can get you guys. You can go from scope. All right. From scope, we should be in 1 power. Are we in 1 power? No, we're actually in. I zoomed up a little bit. There you go. Now we're in 1 power. It should be a little easier now. So this is the original primary arms ACSS. So there's certain, like, you know, I actually asked Dimitri. I sent him a message. I go, listen, can we get this original scope with just a more complex reticle that just has more features but maintains the same size? So I mean, looking through the glass, right? I mean, you can see how just because of the weather. I mean, it is damp out, so there's a little bit of mist. So you can see how, like, you kind of lose a little bit of that clarity. But here's the thing: like flipping over to the iron sights. Let me try doing this shit one-handed. Develop strong shoulders like this. You can see how that can be like really quick and easy to come up on those iron sights. Okay. So like I had these iron sights. I hadn't used them in like 8 to 10 years. I rummaged through a parts box. I pulled them out. I threw them on the gun. I said, hey, let's try this out and see what it looks. So I think that this is something that's like very feasible. Like a lot of times people will have like an LPVO, and then they'll have like a pistol optic on the offset as the backup. But in situations where you got like humidity and dampness and rain, I mean, you're still looking through a lens, okay? Whereas with the iron sights, you're not looking through a lens, you know, so you got that advantage. Now, the disadvantage is that, especially as you get older like me, right, 52 years old, it is harder to, you know, see the targets at distance. Okay, hold on, let me put the camera on a tripod. So, as you get older, okay, one of the things that happens to you, okay, is that I need glasses to see out there at distance, but to see something like right in front of my face, I have to take these off. Okay, so essentially I should be wearing like bifocals, although I can get away without wearing bifocals. So basically what I do is for distance shooting, I have prescription glasses. For close-up shooting, you know, I just take them off. Okay, so if you've got a red dot or an LPVO, okay, the great thing about this is, you know, you got the diopter in the back, or you got basically a single point of aim, right, where you just focus on the target in the distance. So I normally wear my glasses that I use for distance, and I look out there, and my dot or my reticle is on the target at a distance. Okay, the problem with the iron sights, okay, is I'm looking at 3 different things at 3 distances. Okay, so with my glasses on, the target down there I can see, but up close, this is kind of blurry, that's kind of blurry. Okay, and the issue is like with iron sights, the thing that you're supposed to focus on is the front sight. Okay, so the target's supposed to be blurry, and the ghost ring in the back is supposed to kind of ghost out. But the problem is that, you know, with my glasses on, the front sight appears a little blurry. Okay, so I can't like perfectly use the front sight the way it's supposed to be used. So that is just a real physical limitation that I have to work around. Okay, so the question is, okay, fine, there's this limitation. I'm not going to be 100%, but can I make it work? Okay, so get a magazine, strap this sucker on. And I have been practicing with this. All right, so with LPVO, we come up nice and easy. Okay. Now, how about if I come up to iron sights? Yeah, at that distance it works. Okay. So that's what is that? That's up like 10 yards over there. Let's try 30 yards. Okay. Again, with the iron sights, with the limitation of my eyes now, because I got to wear the glasses so I can see everything out there. So 30 yards, I'm going for a little stop sign there. good. I got the hit. It has to be done. So let's go out to 100 yards now, okay? Because that's going to kind of be the test. I think I need to do this position right here. All right, so we're going to go 100 yards. And looks like I got to shift over a little bit. I'll move this sucker. So you guys are listening to the game. Okay, yeah, this is the right position. Shooting between two trees right there. So we're going with iron sights now. Let's see if 100 yards, and the target is 2 feet tall by 1 foot wide. Let me see if I can get hits on it with this limitation. Okay, so 100 yards, it's kind of working. It's actually, vision thing's working. I mean, it seems like this thing's just far out just enough that I can kind of focus on it. It's not perfect focus, but I can kind of focus on it. Let's go to a scanning position, because that's where I had the difficulty. From the scanning position, once again, you guys are looking for the ding. Okay, again, using the iron sight. Get position there. Squat that a little bit. Hit. Tied up on the swing a little bit. I don't think I'm going to hit. So, one of the things I'm finding is with the offset iron sights is the front one, I want to get this out of the way. There you go. That folds down, okay? So that's less of a snag issue. But the one in the back, if I try to fold this one down, it interferes with the charging handle. And the scope needs to be in this position for the proper eye relief. So this has to kind of stay up. The way I'm charging this is from this side over here. LPVO magnification seems to be working okay there. So it's really not an issue. But, you know, it's just that you got to learn to live with that there. Okay, unless, of course, you move it further up, because you could put it up here. It'll still work. The ring doesn't ghost out, because here the ring is supposed to ghost out. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. The other thing I found is when the rifle I had this on like some 8-10 years ago, in order to get this thing to zero, I had to spin the ghost like all the way, the ghost ring all the way to the right, okay? And on this time I had to spin it almost all the way to the left, not all the way up to the left. So sometimes just on the offset, the way these rails sometimes match up, and the good thing about these palmettos is they do kind of lock in place. So the rail is straight, but just be aware that with these offset sights, like normally if the iron sights are sitting on top, you generally are pretty close to a mechanical zero. On the offset, a lot of times you have to go way one way or way the other way. Or in the case of the front sight here, I had to bottom it out because I was trying initially to get a 25-yard zero, and I bottomed out before I could exactly get to 25 yards. But then I went out to 50 yards. At 50 yards, I was like a bit too high. I said, you know what, I want to go. You know, let me go for the 50-yard zero. So I came up a little bit. Then when I went out to 100 yards, I saw that, hey, with 100 yards now, because there's a 9mm AR, I'm shooting a bit low. So I went back to like completely bottoming out the front sight here. Okay, so you know, so that's one of the things to kind of be aware of with these offset sights. Sometimes, you know, the way they match up with your rails may be less than perfect. Yeah, these are the cheap Amazon ones. And I don't know if you get more expensive ones if it's necessarily going to be better for you. I think you just got to buy a bunch of them, try them out, and then just maybe return the ones that don't work for you, which is what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to get a few more from Amazon, right? Because I'm kind of seeing a value here that I hadn't seen in the past. I'm going to get a few more, try them out, and keep the ones that work for me. Okay. So anyway, let's go to 100 yards. We're trying to shoot this standing at 100 yards. So I'm basically wrapping my arm around the sling to try and stabilize. So let's do this. And I did get some hits earlier with the iron sights. Seems like I'm not getting any hits now. Let's try it again. Oh, that was a hit. So let's do this. Let's go to the LPVO. Let's dial this up a little bit. With the LPVO, and I'm not all the way up to 8 power, I am in 3 power, okay? I'm clearly getting more hits. Let's go up to 8 power. So the LPVO is clearly giving me more hits at the 100 yards with this 9mm AR. I mean, there's no question about that. So I'm definitely going to be better with the LPVO or with a red dot that has a magnifier on it. But in certain circumstances, when it's like wet and damp and getting like the lens is getting fogged up and it's getting all the water droplets on it, these offset iron sights are going to be useful. Okay. Yeah. So you see, now even on this side here, right, I can still kind of get my hand in there and charge it. So just be aware if you go with these offset iron sights, there could be, you know, I mean, it's a tight fit over here. Like even right now, I can see the glass is kind of fogged up. Just, you know, I mean, just from yesterday, I haven't cleaned it or anything, and it's probably got like saliva and shit on it. All right, let's go to LPVO. Let's go to the 100. Let's go back to the iron sights. Let's try to, you know what, I have a large aperture on. I noticed that like when I was using the smaller ones, I was just having a hard time seeing through it at distance. Like the target actually seemed to get blurry for me, like at distance when I was looking for the small aperture. Let's try it. Let's try it here. Let's try that small aperture. Again, I got a hit. So here's the thing: it's like I can barely see the target through the small aperture. But what's happening is, since I know where it's at, I was able to get that hit. So if you know where your target's at, the smaller aperture is gonna help. Let's try this again. Some more ammo here. These fast loop slings are very useful for pointing the gun up into position, charging it, tighten it up. Well, it helps if you got a hoodie, it helps if you pull it up. There you go. All right, small aperture, 100 yards. You guys are listening for dings. I'm getting good. I'm getting a lot more hits with the small aperture, even though I can't see the target. Like, I cannot see the red target, cannot see it. But I know where it's at, and I'm just centering it on the area where it's at. And because it's a smaller aperture, I'm able to like more precisely line up my sights, and I'm able to get hits, you know, whereas I couldn't do it before. So yeah, I mean, it's something that I think you guys should think about, you know. I'm not saying that this is the way, okay? I'm not saying I've figured out everything, but in certain circumstances, you know, these offset iron sights do, you know, I mean, can offer some capability, okay? Let's go back to LPVO. Let's dial you up the sheet. See how to do LPVO. Go this way. I'm probably low on ammo in here. Yeah, I got nothing in there. Nope, 0, 0, 0. So that's part of the reason why I because I got these targets here painted white. The ones out there are red. See, the white ones I can see pretty much even in the night. If I throw, if there's even moonlight, I can see them. But I also want some of the targets red. The red ones I can see on a bright day. On a darkest day like now, you know, it's hard to see. It's like very hard to see them. And at night, it's like you gotta really search. So it makes for good training. You know, creating different circumstances. Okay, we're gonna go LPVO at the 100 yards with 8 magnification. Stand. Dial it down just a little bit. A little wider field of view. Go back to 8. I get tired holding the gun out here, trying to, you know, create the tension against the sling. But yeah, I mean, it works. I mean, I can, you know, I'm getting the hits out there. Something I just figured out, like, because earlier I was playing with the large, small aperture, and yeah, I can see better through the larger aperture. And like when I go to the small one, I can't really see the target out there. But if I know where I'm at, it's funny. It's like I'm able, because I'm better able to, you know, line up the sights, ghost ring, and the front post. I'm actually able to hit the target more, even though I really can't see it. So, you know, again, experimentation here, trying to figure stuff out with this particular type of setup. So let me know what you guys think. I'll also add the video from last night, so you guys can kind of see what I was talking about. If you haven't seen that video about how the iron sights were working on these close targets at night versus the LPVO with all the water droplets and stuff on it. I mean, I just can't get enough of this. Yeah, obviously under these conditions, the iron sights are going to be better.